And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Here's a live look outside right now. It is 5 o'clock. I'm Anne-Marie Tiernan. Dustin's in for Felicia today, and we are looking at the weather. We're really enjoying it. We're grateful.
Pretty warm out there. Hit almost 80 degrees.
So
Lots
close.
of sunshine. Still a little haze out there. Rob Ellis is in for Angela tonight. Is that still from those wildfires?
Yeah, we still have a little bit of that wildfire smoke in the atmosphere. I think the big story is also going to be that we're warming the temperatures up, and eventually it's going to feel much more humid as well. Let's start with the numbers, because right now it is just a numbers game. The radar is quiet, by the way, just letting you know. 79 currently at the airport, but there are plenty of 80s showing up. And farther to the west, I teased this earlier, warmer air is on the way. That's what's going to arrive tomorrow, carry us into Wednesday before we start to see some changes. I mentioned that radar is quiet. Just wanted you to know that, yes, we do have a quiet radar. Overall, we're looking pretty good with that. I think we're going to continue to watch showers far enough to the west that they'll stay away at least for the next couple of days or so. But by Wednesday, we could be looking at a much more active radar during the afternoon. Next 8 hours or so, yes, we'll keep things a little bit on the hazy side. Some of you are seeing some of that wildfire smoke continue. Temperatures will cool down into the 60s and then likely just close to 60 degrees for tonight with mostly clear skies. Pretty quiet forecast for tonight and into tomorrow as well. It's just a numbers game. We've got temperatures going into the mid to upper 80s for tomorrow. We'll do high temperatures right around 87 degrees, but the humidity is going to start to move back in. I'll talk about when that arrives and the storm chances on the way as well.
This Monday, an emotional day for the family and the friends of Mr. Jim Irsay.
He was carried by a Colts motor coach to his final resting place after a private funeral service this afternoon on Indy's north side. His 3 daughters and now the shared owners of the NFL team rode on board with an IMPD motorcycle escort.
That service today closed to the public and to the media. Our Rich Nye stood outside as former players and coaches all gathered to say goodbye.
Jim Irsay's funeral was a Colts reunion. Players, coaches, and front office people from the team's more than 40 years in Indianapolis attended the private funeral service. The media could only shoot video of people coming and going from a distance. The Colts were a big part of this service. Hall of Fame coach Tony Dungy read scripture from Ecclesiastes. Former running back Edgerrin James delivered one of the remembrances of the team owner. John Mellencamp performed Longest Days and Pink Houses. Hundreds attended the service. I saw former coaches Chuck Pagano, Bruce Arians, Jim Caldwell, and Frank Reich. Former general manager Bill Polian built the Super Bowl teams. Dwight Freeney, Reggie Wayne, and Pat McAfee were among some of the more recognizable players in attendance, but there were many others from all eras of the Indianapolis Colts. Former governors Eric Holcomb and Evan Bayh were among the dignitaries I saw. Jim Irsay's grandchildren served as pallbearers and flower bearers. The motor coach blocked the curbside ceremonies from camera view before the family loaded into the coach and several passenger vans. An IMPD motorcycle escort led the funeral procession away from the church. The Colts say that plans for a public memorial for fans to remember team owner Jim Irsay is still in the works and will be announced in the coming days. In Indianapolis, Rich Nye, 13 News.
Memorial contributions can be made to the Kicking the Stigma campaign for mental health awareness. And we have a closer look at the life and the legacy of Jim Irsay over on WTHR+. Our special is available for you to stream right now. It's on demand. You can download our app on your TV to watch, and it's free.
All right, to the Pacers now. We are just 3 days away from the blue and gold taking on Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals.
It's hard to believe Game 1's going to be on the road in OKC, but the Pacers are planning a lot for the fans that want to watch back here at home. Yep, watch parties and fan activities are in the works for Games 1 and Games 2. There will also be a merch restock later this weekend, and that will be at the team store that's inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Sure, a lot of that merch was sold the last 48 hours.
Yes.
For the home games, there will be pregame parties on Morris Bicentennial Plaza. Play-by-play announcer Chris Denary, who spoke with him today, he says if you haven't paid attention to the playoff series yet, now is the time.
It's something we've all hoped for, and you really have to enjoy it because it's always not guaranteed. You know, crazy things happen in sports on a positive and negative basis, so when it happens, you've got to take advantage of it.
Official tickets for Game 3 and 4, they have not been released just yet.
Again, we are hosting those games. It's on Wednesday the 11th and Friday the 13th. You can head to WTHR.com for a look at the full playoff schedule right now.
And we have complete reaction from the Pacers' Game 6 win. It's over on WTHR Plus. You can watch that on demand, hear from the players, the fans, all the excitement anytime.
And download our free app now to watch. And again, it's free. Well, let's talk about the ladies. Tonight, the Indiana Fever are getting ready for another game, which you can watch right on our sister station, which is MeTV.
And there will be a new player on the court when they take on the Mystics. The team signed guard Arie McDonald using the emergency hardship exception. That exception allows a team to sign somebody who can play immediately if the team drops below 10 eligible players at any time.
And we got a chance to catch up with McDonald when she went to practice today.
I was a slight bit anxious, but again, it was my first day. I wasn't trying to overthink because that's when turnovers happen or you just mess up, but just constantly playing, just not thinking too much and just calling what I'm comfortable with. But the girls did a great job of just, cheering me on and being very accepting and welcoming.
McDonald is needed while Fever guard Caitlin Clark is out with a left quad strain.
The team's also dealing with injuries to Sydney Colson and Sophie Cunningham. They were both hurt in Friday's loss to the Connecticut Sun. As we mentioned, you can watch tomorrow night's game on our sister station, MeTV.
That airs at 7 o'clock. That's on channel 13.3. And don't worry if you don't know where that channel is. We've got you covered.
Just scan that QR code on your screen right there. It'll take you directly to WTHR.com/fever, where you'll find our story sharing how you can watch the game, whether you're looking for it over the air with an antenna or on cable. To some of the other headlines now at 5. Tonight, a city-county councilor is calling on Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hoget to resign.
This follows a law firm's final report on the investigation into allegations of harassment within the mayor's office. It found that the former chief of staff there, Thomas Cook, violated the city's non-fraternization policy multiple times. And now the District 14 City County Councilor, Andy Nielsen, says he wants the mayor to resign.
He shared this letter today saying, quote, "At a time when faith in our government is waning, public servants must work to restore trust in the effectiveness and legitimacy of our institutions to fulfill the promise that government can work." Mayor Hoget is responding tonight, saying while he and the county or the city county council don't always agree, one thing they do agree on is continually improving city policies. He's also asked the council to work with his office to schedule a meeting and discuss the final report's proposals to improve harassment reporting and training. Also developing tonight, a woman is in jail accused of giving drugs to the man found dead in the tanning room of an Indianapolis Planet Fitness.
This was something that happened back in November, and since police have been investigating that case, our Ashton Hackman talked with the victim's aunt and explains how police determined who to arrest.
On November 8th, 39-year-old Derek Sink would walk into the Planet Fitness off Highway 31 near County Line Road and wouldn't walk back out alive. It wasn't until 3 days later, on November 11th, when employees would find Sink unresponsive, laying over the tanning bed. The coroner later confirming Sink died of a fentanyl overdose.
We had the correct evidence in place, and we had the go-ahead from the coroner's office that it was an overdose, so we went ahead and started looking into it.
Police searched through Sink's phone that was found with him in the tanning room. Investigators uncovered messages with 41-year-old Heather Bradford, in which Sink asked her for drugs. Derek's aunt Kimberly said Bradford fueled his drug problem.
Derek had the biggest heart ever. Did he have issues with the law? Yes, most of it involved around drugs. He wanted things in life. He had goals in life. But, he just had that demon, and she fed that demon.
Bradford denied meeting up with Sink to give him the drugs, but police would uncover text messages she sent him after he stopped responding. "Please call me, D. After all, I know what you got could kill you, or at least cause you to overdose and be unconscious." When confronted with the messages, Bradford asked for a lawyer. Police arrested her on Friday, and she's now charged with dealing resulting in death, a level 1 felony.
They were close. So, they were like boyfriend and girlfriend at the very end. But still, that is, that's just something everybody's got to realize. If you give somebody else drugs, you're liable if something happens to them.
A tragedy Derek Sink's family now hopes holds a woman accountable for causing his death. In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
Right now, we are still waiting to learn when Bradford will make her first court appearance. If convicted, she faces up to 40 years in prison.
Tonight, the 18-year-old man accused of killing a Hamilton Southeastern High School grad is being held on $50,000 bond.
Police say that Trey Williams was driving recklessly before that fiery crash that killed his passenger, Mason Alexander, about 3 months ago. Williams made his first appearance in adult court today. That's after the judge waived him there from juvenile court.
And his $50,000 bond is higher than what the prosecution and defense asked for. Williams faces charges of reckless homicide, reckless driving, and false government identification. Today, the judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf.
The judge also told him that he cannot drive a vehicle of any kind if he gets out on bond. As of right now, Williams' trial is set for this October.